The Galactic Empire had a reputation for arrogance, a fleet that spanned light years, armies that crushed entire worlds, a council that believed it could dictate terms to any species. And yet, in their supreme confidence, they made one grave miscalculation. They assumed humanity would behave like every other species. Imperial Command, Sector 47. Admiral Veyron of the Empire's Third Fleet hovered over his holographic command console. Alien officers of all shapes and sizes moved with precision, issuing orders with a mechanical efficiency born of centuries of war. "Prepare the inspection protocols," Veyron barked. "Send the fleets toward the Terran colonies in Delta Prime. Scan their defenses. Test their responses." A shimmering panel lit up with Terran systems under observation. "Sir, sensors indicate they are monitoring us," said Lieutenant Kerr, a scaled reptilian officer. Veyron waved dismissively. "They observe. They have no choice but to comply. Humanity is cautious. They do not have the strength to challenge the Empire." He leaned back. His fleet would teach them a lesson. A small demonstration. Nothing more. Earth, Terran High Command. Far across the stars, in the calm of Earth's orbital command station, Admiral Kayla Thorne sipped her coffee. Her black and red uniform was spotless. Her eyes scanned reports, noting every Imperial movement. "Sir," her tactical officer said nervously, "the Empire is massing near Delta Prime. They're moving more ships than last year's exercises." Kayla didn't flinch. "They're testing us," she said quietly. "Let them." Her hand hovered over the console, brushing against the controls of the Terran defense fleet. Every ship, cruisers, dreadnoughts, stealth frigates, was ready. Every weapon primed. Every protocol rehearsed to perfection. "They think this is a test," she murmured. "They're about to learn it's a mistake." The colony of Delta Prime. Governor Mira Sol stood on the surface of the planet, staring at the sky. Alien cruisers shimmered in orbit above, conducting scans, broadcasting their dominance. "Are we in danger?" a young technician asked, voice trembling. Myra's gaze didn't leave the viewport. "No," she said calmly. "They're here to see if humanity will flinch. And they'll leave, surprised." The first move. Back in the Imperial Command Bridge, Admiral Veyron smirked. "Send a warning shot across the colony's orbit. Nothing fatal. Just let them know who's in charge." The officer executed the order. A bolt of plasma leapt from the cruiser and arced toward Delta Prime. Down below, alarms rang, but the humans did nothing. No counter-fire. No panic. Just calculated monitoring and minor defensive maneuvers. Veyron chuckled. "They comply. Just as we expected." Earth watches and waits. On the bridge of the TFS Revenant, Kayla Thorne's eyes were cold as stars. "The first move is theirs," she said. "And now," she paused, letting the words hang in the void, "we show them ours." The Terran fleet stirred from its hidden positions, black-hulled ships ready to appear at a moment's notice. The galaxy had assumed humanity would flinch under intimidation. They were about to learn that humans did not flinch. The Empire's officers had never encountered resistance like this. Delta Prime's defenses were minimal, civilian orbital stations, small patrol ships, but the humans moved with a precision that was almost alien in itself. Every sensor reading, every countermeasure, every evasive maneuver was perfectly executed. It was as if the humans had predicted every possible attack before the first shot was fired. Imperial Command, panic in the rank. Admiral Veyron stared at the console, fangs gritting. "Report," he barked. Lieutenant Kerr's claws trembled as he tapped holographic panels. "Sir, the colony's defensive grid, it is adapting faster than our simulations allow. Every probe we send is intercepted and neutralized without damage to their systems." Veyron slammed a clawed hand on the console. "Impossible. They are humans, fragile, slow. They should crumble under our fleet." "They're not fighting, sir," another officer piped up. "They're observing, calculating, evading." Veyron's snarl was low, deep, and dangerous. "They should fear us. They should submit. But the humans did neither. Earth calm before the storm. On the bridge of the TFS Revenant, Admiral Kayla Thorne watched the Imperial fleet with detached calculation. "Tactical status report," she said calmly. "All units in position, Admiral. All stealth systems active. Enemy reconnaissance is already inside our designated response perimeter." Kayla nodded. "They believe they are testing us. They think we will flinch. Let them continue. Their arrogance will be their undoing." Delta Prime, observation, not panic. Governor Mirasol stood on the colony's command deck, eyes fixed on the holographic projection of the alien fleet. "Sir," Rinzhou said, pointing to several red blips, "their cruisers are preparing a wide orbital sweep. They'll scan everything, every station, every civilian vessel. If they detect an error, they'll attack." Mira shook her head. "They won't find one. And even if they do, Earth will respond when the time is right." Her gaze shifted to the sky. A thin shimmer of movement. Stealth ships? It was hard to tell. They weren't firing, but their presence was unmistakable. "They're here," she whispered. "Waiting. Watching. Just like us." The Empire fires a warning shot. On the Veyron's flagship, the decision was made. Target the nearest human orbital station. Fire a warning shot. Let them know they are under our authority. The plasma bolt streaked through space, glowing blue against the black void. It slammed into the orbital station, but instead of destruction, the shield absorbed it, dissipating energy with no visible damage. "Report," Veyron demanded. "Shields fully intact, Admiral. No casualties. No breach detected. The station remains operational." The bridge crew exchanged terrified glances. How is this possible?" one muttered. Veyron's claws trembled around his console. They're playing with us." Earth watches, smiles, and waits. Kayla Thorne's eyes never left the Imperial fleet. "They believe this is a warning," she said. "They believe we are observing and not acting. They are wrong." A small panel lit up, indicating the hidden positions of Terran Fleet Unit. "All ships, prepare to deploy. Stealth channels open. Engagement at my command." The humans had waited long enough. The Empire had tested them. And now, the galaxy was about to learn that humanity did not flinch. Humanity struck back, on their terms. The Imperial fleet believed it had the advantage. Numbers, firepower, centuries of experience. They did not realize that humans were not only predictable in their restraint, they were terrifying in their precision. The first movement. Silent as shadows, Terran stealth cruisers slipped from hidden orbits, bending light around their hulls. Super dreadnoughts like the TFS Revenant appeared first as faint distortions, then resolved into colossal black warships with glowing red vent lines and jagged, predatory hulls. On the Revenant, Admiral Kayla Thorne stood with her hands clasped behind her back. "Tactical," she said quietly, "initiate perimeter sweep. Let them see what they've provoked." The fleet moved like a single organism, encircling the Imperial blockade without a sound, without a warning broadcast. Imperial shock. On the Veyron, sensors blinked wildly. "Sir, unidentified vessels, too many, they're surrounding us." Veyron's claws hit the console. "Impossible. Their numbers, they can't." The tactical officer interrupted, voice shaking. "Sir, stealth detection confirms Sigma-class dreadnoughts, multiple vectors, they are everywhere." The fleet had underestimated humanity. Every Imperial cruiser, frigate, and battleship was suddenly exposed, trapped in a kill envelope that no species had ever experienced. Lumen Prime, colony observation. Governor Mirasol and Rin Zhou watched the display. "They didn't just respond," Rin whispered. "They anticipated." Mira nodded. "They're human. They never fire first, but if provoked, every shot lands with certainty." Above the colony, glimmers of black ships moved like predators stalking prey. Yet the civilians were safe. No fire had been exchanged. Not yet. The human message. Then the broadcast came, simple, cold, and universally understood. The blockade of Delta Prime is unlawful. Disengage immediately. This is the only warning you will receive. On the Imperial ships, officers laughed at first. They threaten us with words? Laughable. But the laughter died quickly. The first demonstration. The TFS Revenant activated its kinetic batteries. A single hyperdense slug ripped through the vacuum of space, striking an Imperial frigate. No explosion. No fireball. Just the rear engines vanished, twisted metal spiraling into the void. A stunned silence fell over the enemy bridge. Sir, they didn't destroy the ship. They disabled it, Kerr whispered. Every shot is surgical, deliberate. Veyron roared. They are mocking us. But the humans were not mocking. They were teaching a lesson. Terran calm. Kayla Thorne's voice remained steady as she watched the Imperial fleet flail. Tactical, continue perimeter suppression. Disable weapons and engines only. No unnecessary casualties. Her bridge crew executed every maneuver with quiet precision. Every Imperial ship that fired was met with a swift, targeted countermeasure, neutralized without chaos. For the first time in centuries, the Empire realized that humanity did not fight like any other species. They were calm. They were deliberate. And when humanity struck, even the most powerful fleet in the galaxy felt fear for the first time. The Imperial fleet had assumed the humans were cautious, fragile, predictable. They were wrong. Every move the Empire made was anticipated. Every attack countered. Every attempt to retreat blocked. Humanity did not just respond. They dictated the battlefield. Council command, panic spreads. Admiral Veyron's flagship, the Imperator Rex, quivered under the first kinetic slugs. Officers shouted across the bridge as engine arrays failed one by one. They're targeting our propulsion systems. Kerr shrieked. Every shot precise. No destruction, just disablement. Veyron's claws slammed on the console. They cannot be allowed to humiliate us. But humiliation was already complete. Every Imperial ship scrambled to escape, but the Terran fleet had cut off all viable retreat vectors. Stealth cruisers appeared at every blind spot. Super dreadnoughts moved like silent predators, encircling the enemy with lethal calm. Lumen Prime, colonists watch in awe. Governor Mira Sol and Rin Zhou observed the battlefield from the colony's command tower. They're not firing to kill, Rin said, awestruck. They're disabling. Controlling. Every shot is deliberate. Mira exhaled slowly. The humans warned them and they still fired first. Now they will learn the cost of arrogance. Above them, streaks of glowing kinetic slugs tore through space, hitting targets with surgical precision. The Empire's final gamble. Veyron made a desperate decision. All ships, open full assault. Fire everything. Plasma, ion cannons, antimatter projectiles, an entire galaxy's worth of firepower aimed at the Terran fleet. The humans didn't panic. They didn't even flinch. Human precision. The TFS Revenant and accompanying Sigma-class dreadnoughts responded with Omega Protocol. Engines, weapons arrays, and command modules of the Imperial ships were selectively disabled. No unnecessary destruction. No innocent lives lost. Only the ships that had chosen aggression suffered consequences. One by one, Imperial dreadnoughts and cruisers were neutralized, engines shredded, weapons gone, shields flensed clean. Officers stared in disbelief as the Terrans moved like a single mind, calculating, precise, and unstoppable. The final warning. Then a broadcast echoed across every Imperial channel. You ignored our warnings. You attacked our colonies. Any further aggression will meet final response. You will not receive a second warning. A tremor of fear rippled across the fleet. Even the most arrogant commanders felt it. Humanity had restrained itself, once. It would not do so again. Aftermath of the engagement. On the Revenant, Kayla Thorne's expression remained calm as she surveyed the battlefield. All targets neutralized. Minimal collateral damage. Recovery teams to secure disabled ships and assist survivors. Begin humanitarian outreach on Delta Prime. Her tactical officer nodded. Yes, Admiral. Kayla's gaze shifted to the stars beyond. They believed they were testing us. They learned instead that humanity does not negotiate from weakness. We do not flinch. We do not plead. And we never forget. The galaxy would remember this day. The Empire would remember this day. And every species that had doubted humanity would remember it too. The Imperial fleet had ignored warnings. They had fired first. They had assumed humanity would respond as any other species might, cautiously, hesitantly, perhaps with negotiation. They were wrong. The Empire strikes. Admiral Veyron roared across the bridge of the Imperator wreck. All ships, full fire. Crush the Terran fleet before they spread to Delta Prime. Plasma beams lanced through space. Ion storms crackled. Antimatter warheads streaked like shooting stars. The Terran fleet did not panic. The Terran fleet did not falter. Every shot was calculated, every maneuver predicted. The humans had already anticipated this assault. Omega Protocol activated. Tactical Omega Protocol, Kayla Thorne commanded. Her voice was cold, measured, unstoppable. The Sigma-class dreadnoughts uncloaked fully. Massive black ships with jagged hulls moved like predators, encircling the Imperial fleet. Rail batteries, kinetic cannons, and compression torpedoes targeted engines, weapons arrays, and command centers with surgical precision. There were no explosions of civilians. No mass devastation. Only focused, unavoidable consequences for those who had chosen aggression. The Vectal and other Imperial dreadnoughts floundered. Engines ripped apart, shields flensed, and command networks collapsed. Officers screamed across the commnet, helpless, frozen, and humiliated. The final broadcast. A Terran message filled every channel, every relay, every listening post. The blockade of Delta Prime is terminated. All Terran colonies are under Earth protection. Any further aggression will be met with final response. You will not receive a second warning. Across the Empire, disbelief and fear spread. Even seasoned admirals understood. Humanity had restrained itself once. Next time, there would be no mercy. Lumen Prime, witnessing humanity's power. Governor Mira Sol and Rin Zhou watched the remnants of the Imperial blockade drift helplessly in orbit. They didn't destroy everything, Rin said, still shaking. They didn't need to. Just enough to prove a point. Mira nodded. They warned them. And they enforced it. Precisely. Coldly. Mercilessly, but with control. Above them, kinetic trails glimmered in the void. The Terran fleet moved silently, ready to strike again if needed, a silent guarantee of protection. Admiral Kayla Thorne, the calm executioner. On the Revenant, Kayla surveyed the battlefield. Not a single Terran ship had been lost. Minimal collateral damage. The Imperial fleet lay neutralized and humiliated. All objectives completed, tactical confirmed. Kayla nodded. Recover salvage. Secure Delta Prime. Begin aid operations. Humanity protects its own. She paused, eyes on the stars. They ignored every warning. They forced our hand. Let them tell the galaxy what happened here today. Humanity tried restraint. Humanity showed mercy. And humanity never forgets. The galaxy would remember. The Empire would remember. Every species that doubted humans would remember. Because humanity had finally laughed back, and that laugh carried the weight of entire fleets.